In the Canadian Rockies, a fast-moving wildfire ravages the resort town of Jasper. The fire, which prompted 25,000 people to flee, roared into the near-deserted town overnight as a wall of fire, devastating up to half the structures in the picturesque resort, officials said. In this photo released by the Jasper National Park, smoke rises from a wildfire burning near Jasper, Alberta, Canada, on Wednesday. A fast-moving wildfire in the Canadian Rockies that had prompted 25,000 people to flee roared into the near-deserted town of Jasper overnight with flames as high as treetops, devastating up to half of its structures, officials said Thursday. There were no immediate reports of injuries, following a mass evacuation of the picturesque resort and a neighboring national park earlier in the week, but Jasper Mayor Richard Ireland said in a letter on the town's website that the wildfire ravaged our beloved community. The destruction and loss that many of you are facing and feeling is beyond description and comprehension. My deepest sympathies go out to each of you, he said. Danielle Smith, the Premier of Alberta Province, said from 30% to 50% of the town's structures are potentially damaged or destroyed, saying that's going to be a significant rebuild and significant displacement. Smith teared up talking about the beauty of Jasper, noting that many families from the province regularly visit. A postcard-perfect mountain town, Jasper is famous for hiking, skiing, kayaking and biking. It is also home to dozens of species such as elk, mountain goats, cougars, lynx, black bears, and grizzly bears. A sense of loss in a picturesque town. We share the sense of loss with all who live in town, Smith said at a news conference in Edmonton, Alberta, while pledging her government's support for the community to rebuild. Jasper and the neighboring Jasper National Park had been menaced by fires from both the north and south, and the town's 5,000 full-time residents along with 20,000 visitors fled on short notice late Monday and Tuesday when the fires flared up. One of the fires raced into the southern edge of the community Wednesday evening as firefighters tried to limit the damage. Alberta Public Safety Minister Mike Ellis said a wind gust moved the wildfire about 5 kilometers, about 3 miles, in probably less than 30 minutes toward the town with a wall of fire that he estimated was 100 meters high. People need to picture what those wildfire folks were experiencing at that time. Any firefighter will tell you there is little to nothing you can do when a wall of fire like that is coming at you, Ellis said. Nobody anticipated the fire to come so fast, so large. Pierre Martel, director of fire management at Parks Canada, said lightning, winds and drought made the fire grow rapidly on Monday and that flames were above the treetops when it entered the town Wednesday. It's just a monster at that point. There are no tools we have in our toolbox to deal with that at that point. You get out of the way, you retreat, he said. Parks Canada said in a post on X that there had been no reported injuries, adding that approximately 25,000 people were safely evacuated from the town of Jasper and Jasper National Park. All residents, visitors, and responders are safe. Park officials said efforts to fight the fire were continuing and that it was too early to give details of the damage. They asked for patience, and said the fire remains out of control despite a small amount of rain that fell overnight. I have no clue where I go now, a resident says. Anneliese Lager, who has owned and lived in the Austrian haven B&B for 30 years, said she's waiting to hear if it's been destroyed but isn't optimistic because all the houses nearby are gone. She said she fled with her 13 cats and dog. I have no clue where I go now. Heaven or hell. It was my life. You can imagine how much work it was, she said. I think I'm in shock. She said relatives including her daughter and son-in-law had their homes destroyed. It was the heat that dried everything out. And now the town is gone, she said. Lager was sheltering with a kind stranger in Valemount, British Columbia, but said she eventually will need to find new homes for her family members and for my critters. I'm a very tough woman. Whatever happens I start again even though I'm 82 years old, she said. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said his administration has approved Alberta's request for federal assistance, including military resources. Jasper National Park is considered a national treasure. The United Nations designated the parks that make up the Canadian Rockies, including Jasper, a World Heritage Site in 1984 for its striking mountain landscape. Alberta has been baking under scorching temperatures that have already forced another 7,500 people out of remote communities. About 176 wildfires were burning across the province, including 54 that are burning out of control. Alberta Forestry and Parks Minister Todd Loewen said many of the fires are caused by lightning, and Alberta Wildfire spokesperson Christy Tucker said firefighters expect winds will raise the danger. Tucker said hundreds of firefighters from Australia, Mexico, New Zealand and South Africa are arriving to help fight the wildfires throughout the province. A record number of wildfires in 2023 forced more than 235,000 people across Canada to evacuate and sent thick smoke into parts of the U.S., leading to hazy skies and health advisories in multiple U.S. cities.